Hey, it's T Haven. Come along with me as we travel. It'll be fun, I promise you. No worries.
I find it hard to think when some days are easier to I find it hard to think when some days are easier to
Hey, YouTube. How's everybody on today? I'm actually coming back. It's T Haven. Coming back to say hey to everybody. The streets have been really, really busy. The YouTube streets, I see. I kind of go in and out of different channels and just kind of watching and listening and getting ideas and listening to everybody's opinions and attitudes towards life, how they feel, what they're thinking. A lot of people kind of like say what's on their mind, like they, whatever's on their tongue, they just gonna speak it and they just gonna say it, right? And then you have some people that are, they guard their thoughts, which it really, really is good to guard your thoughts, because if people kind of know how you move every single time, or they know your thoughts, then that's how people can move in on you. You always do have to kind of be a little strategic. You should be able to be yourself. I wholeheartedly believe that people should be allowed to be themselves, but the world we're not living in that type of world. We can just let have and let go and let have, we can be free, we're just not in that day and time. There was a day and time, generation that we came up in, those that know, we came up in a time where we could, like go outside and play. You didn't too much have to worry about your children. You didn't have to be afraid. The kids don't have any type of social skills, and the little social skills that they got from school is fighting. Why you looking at me? What you looking at me for? I really don't want to be here. I want to go home because I got more going on at home than I got going on in my present time right now. I remember being in school, and I was not excited to be in school, but my home life was not just like all of that. We would be bored at home. I remember that. Like, we couldn't wait to get to school, put our clothes on. We would have our hairstyles. We would be what we call fly. Yeah, some of y'all young people know about that. Some young people still use that terminology because they kind of be around their mama a whole lot. But absolutely, we kind of look forward to going to school. And we didn't always look forward to doing work, learning. But we were learning. We were learning each other. We were learning social skills. We were understanding each other. We would see how people move. And maybe because we were in a different day and time, I think people think that social media is reality, and it's not. You're only going to get what you get at that very moment, face value, right? But it's not really face value because you're not getting the internal. You're just getting the external. Is that what I want to say? You're getting the outside of a person. You're not getting, as soon as they get off that camera, they frowning up in the face like, ooh, these people get on my nerves. Like, they not going to say it in the camera because they know they got fans and followers, and they bet not say it because they could lose followers, right? And you ain't crazy enough to lose your following because that's your content creation, that's how you keep moving. That's how you keep growing. It's because of the fans. Without your followers and your fans, what would you be? Just talking to the air. Anyway, we learn so many different social skills, and I'm not putting the younger generation down because I do have children myself, and I'm finding my children are coming to me asking me advice and things that they can't really go to their friends about because they're really not sure if they're friends. So we got a generation that gives half-heartedly friendship. we came up in a time where you were my friend, you ride with me, this is what it is. If you fight, I fight. Ain't nobody getting left out, right? If you get picked on, I'm not gonna sit there and let nobody bully you. And you my friend. I've decided that you're my friend. That friendship goes a long way. It did back in our day, right? So I enjoyed my years. I even enjoyed, there were like certain subjects that I remember. There were actually like certain subjects that I remember that I absolutely enjoyed. I had an English teacher, and she grew up in the country. She actually kind of grew up where my people grew up. So she kind of had an understanding of who we were, what we were, the adversity that was going to come up against us. And she poured into us to make sure that we could pronunciate our words. We could actually read a book. She made each and every last one of us, and several teachers did this. My English is like grammar is like one of my top favorite subjects, science as well. But this particular teacher, I will never forget her. She made sure that no one got left out. No matter how bad you were, no matter how spoiled you were, your mama spoiled you, you came to class, you had on the latest Snickers, which Jordan was, back in our day, we were the Jordan generation. Jordans we're the generation that kicked it off. And so, the leather jackets, we had, we did all of that. Like, it was good, and it actually made us want to actually get a job and go to work, because it was like we knew our parents weren't just gonna jump up and go and get us no leather jackets and the J's that had came out. I remember all of that. Okay, I am back. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I forgot to say, don't forget to, as you come in, hit the like button. Share my channel, and subscribe if you have not subscribed. I do welcome you. If you're new to the channel, if my channel just come across your feed, welcome to T Haven's channel. I've been gone for a little while. I'm kind of stepping away from my last conversation. I'm gonna go back to it in just a minute. I've been gone for a little while because I had some attacks happen to me, as far as being sick. And I have been fighting. My body had been fighting, and I didn't really know I was sweating right before probably my last post or last video that I posted. I didn't know why there was a continuation of me being sick, because I had just come back around February, March, and was like, y'all, I'm back. I'm going to be more consistent. And then, boom, something else happened. And I'm like, okay, but it was actually a continuation, and I needed to know what was going on. It was serious, but my body was not reacting like it was serious, right? Them symptoms that kind of deceive you and make you feel like it probably is just a little something. No, it was really serious. And I just kept going, kept moving, kept striving, But anyway, back to us appreciating having a job, y'all. When I tell y'all we was 14, 15 years old, it was like, girl, I'm going to get me a job. I remember that. Girl, I'm going to get me a job. We weren't thinking about nothing else but getting us some money. And to let you guys also know, the younger generation, if y'all hear this video, please hear me. Our parents did not have the benefit of getting on food stamps. A lot of our parents, we come from the generation of our grandparents were still together. So our parents were still together. Even if the daddy was alcoholic, smoking, drinking, bringing the homies home to the house, we had a lot of that going on in our life. It was fun at times, and it was scary at times. But my daddy never let no harm come to us and our family. at least to the best of his ability, right? But no harm really came to us. My daddy was, he was about that. He was with that. And he's from the East Coast, okay? But just to say that East Coast kind of move a little different. I said that just because East Coast people do kind of move a little different, just to kind of let y'all know. But I said that to say that most of us, our parents, did not have the benefit of being able to get on food stamps, right? And they didn't have the benefit of getting health insurance. So a lot of us did not have health insurance. Those programs that y'all see today, they were not out when I was a little girl. Like, I don't remember mama saying, come on, you got health insurance, or, and my mom, she actually had a really good job. Eventually, she had to kind of work her way through. She dealt with some racism on her job. She's a school teacher, but she came in as an aide under type of education department, and that's the thing. Like, you could really come in under different departments, and it could be education, but it could be funded by the government of the state, right? So I said all that to say that our parents didn't have food stamps, didn't have Medicaid. That was not programs that had existed. And if they existed, I didn't know about it, maybe on different coasts down south. They just wasn't like, we grew up standing in line with our mom fighting for government cheese, powdered milk. I remember that. I remember that. And the government cheese was the best cheese. And I know y'all hear this all the time. It was kind of like the best cheese that you could ever find. I don't know where that cheese ran on to, but I wish somebody would let me know the warehouse, who was creating that cheese, who was the maker of that cheese. But anyway, this is why we could not wait to get a job. So our focus was go to school, and our parents was like, as long as you do pretty good in school, you can get a job, because they knew we were one of the things that was being offered. And at that time, the buying, all of that was big. No online ordering, none of that, okay? So we all physically met up at the mall. We would meet up at the mall. We would go to the skate ring, we would go to the bowling. Some of y'all still do that. But the mall was our thing. This is how we met, got in relationships. This is how we would go and meet our person up at the mall, and we would hang out like, honey, we done in a whole good, solid, solidified relationship. Like, really? And your mom and daddy could come through here at any moment and they ain't having it. So, but anyway, like, a lot of kids would get caught because they would sneak off. Their parents didn't know they was gone. Oh, it was a lot going on. We were not the generation with wigs. We had our own hair. Our parents took us to the beauty shop. That was the first of the year when the household got money enough to be able to take us to get our hair done. I didn't get a perm. A lot of girls got relaxers at a young age. I didn't get one to high school because I had real thick, long hair. And my hair, you could just press it. And we did use the pressing combs that y'all using right now on wigs. We used that, and I actually learned how to do it myself, of course, as I got grown. Had 2 daughters. But I just wanted to kind of come on and kind of give our life of those of us of the generation that understands. And we've had to learn the new technology, y'all. Y'all like think it's so easy. Like, y'all be like, Mama, come on, let me show you how to do this. But it's just not that easy because we didn't come from that world. Now, my first computer, touching a computer, I was really young, because I was the type of girl that I would go and seek and find resources, and I would just come up on stuff, read the newspaper, and I would find different companies that would be hiring or doing training. I was always looking to advance my skills no matter what. I remember looking at my first Apple computer. I remember a guy was like, do you know how to work this computer? And I was like, give it here, I'll try and let me see what I can do. I've always been that person. But anyhow, like, I actually ended up in technology. 2000, actually my first corporate job, 2004, 2005, I ended up working for AT&T. It was the corporate office for AT&T where I lived. That was my first job. I walked away from working for a retirement home. I worked in the dementia unit, and with Alzheimer patients. I was a coordinator. I also was a transportation. I was a driver. I was a little bit of everything. I was the person that lived down the street. They could call and say, hey, somebody called out. Can you come in? Absolutely, I'll be there. Just give me about an hour. Let me get my kids situated and whatnot, right? I was always looking to make money until they played with me, and the double shifts that I was working, they didn't have my paycheck. So I was like, hey, you got one more time to play with me. And that one more time was one more time, and that was the end of that. And I was like, oh, we were just getting ready to get your promotion. I don't want a promotion. I'm saying goodbye. And I stepped out on faith, and I trusted God. And a door came open for me, and people were saying they're hiring at AT&T. You need to go ahead and apply. I got a resume together. I got called instantly, got called in. Can you come in tomorrow? I got my 2 interviews on the phone, passed those. Can you come in on tomorrow? Absolutely, I'll be there. There was a whole class full of us, and they were hiring us on the spot because they needed so many customer service reps. That was my first customer service job, but it was with the corporate office, and I was so grateful. I did not end up in retention. A lot of people actually wanted to go over to retention, but there is good money in retention and saving a customer or consumer, right? But I won't go too far into that. But I did end up learning technology, and I learned billing very fast. We were our own managers. I remember my manager from Memphis, Tennessee. He was so cool. He was the very first person that introduced me to Kim Burrell. Not the Kim Burrell from when she was young, but the artist once she became a real solidified artist. And she had an album with Ty Tribbett, and I was locked in. He gave me a CD. I was listening at my desk, and I had my headphones. He was like, girl, be quiet. We can hear you singing. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was crazy. So I remember all of that. And I remember going from there to eventually. So once you start working for cell phone companies, pretty much telecommunications, billing, once you get those skills on the wraps in technology, once you get that on the wraps, it's kind of like you good, right? You know, it's like you solid, you good. And that's pretty much what happened. You know, I was good, you know, and I was like really, really grateful. I was really, really grateful that I got a chance to get that experience of working in corporate. I ended up working, like I say, I ended up working for another cell phone company in 2007, 2008, which is a company that got bought out by Verizon. This is when Verizon started coming into the mix. And I was like ever so grateful, you know. I was like very, very, very grateful for being in a position to get all of that experience. That's the technical. I had to go through I want to say over a 6-week training for tech support, and they taught us the ins and outs of tech support, and not only the ins and outs of tech support, but they also taught us like the cell towers, how you understand when cell towers you were bouncing off of. All that mattered then. You know, none of that matters now. You don't really even have to worry about it. Technology has upgraded and changed and advanced so much now. But I did get a chance to go through that training. I was like top of my class. I remember coming out to the floor, and the company already knew they were getting ready to be bought out, but they didn't actually tell us that. What they did was they just was like, y'all, we get ready to reward y'all. Y'all got through the training. Gave us a good like $1,200 bonus on top of our paycheck. And at that time, you know, we weren't making a whole lot of money, but at that time it was a whole lot of money. And you working for a cell phone company, they're paying for your cell phone bill. You get walkie-talkies, you you get all of the things that you need to be able to accomplish your job. So that included a whole lot. Okay. But I have gotten a chance to, I've been favored and gotten a chance to put my hands to a lot of different skills. I've carried those